Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your history lecture. So, we have completed 3 lessons in history. Now, we'll be moving towards the next part or the political science part. We shall study as political science the subject that was taught as civics till standard 8. As we did in civics, we are going to study a political life in political science too. This study will now be broader and in greater depth. Just as political life includes local government, constitution, the fundamental rights, and directive principles in the constitution, it also includes the government system, administration, policy making, democracy, and different movements. The decision and policies of the government and the exercise of authority by government makes an impact on the life of common people. Political science studies all these aspects scientifically and analytically. You will be able to grasp political developments, various streams of thoughts, and political processes better with the study of political science. This understanding will help you in achieving excellence in any field that you are working in. So children, political science is nothing but same as we used to learn civics. We are going to learn more about it in political science. Okay? So now in the ninth standard, instead of civics, it's political science. We'll begin with the first chapter of political science, that is chapter 1, post World War political developments. Now in this lesson we are going to learn post World War political developments. Let's revise. In the civics textbooks till now, we have studied local self-government institutions, India's constitution, and our political system or governmental structure. In this class, we are going to study India's relation with the world. You must have understood world geography through the study of geography. You must have become familiar with the global historical events through the study of history. Now, through the study of political science, we are going to study India's relations with the world and some major global issues. We are dependent on different persons, institutions, and organizations in the society for different reasons and for different facilities. Our social life is interdependent and mutual cooperation has a very important place in it. Just as it is true about individuals and society, it applies to different nations as well. There are many independent nations in the world like India. Some exchange and interaction goes on between them constantly. These independent states also enter into treaties with each other. A system of all these independent sovereign states come up. We call it international system. Let us get to know some features of this international system. Like we have already learned in the lower classes children that we are living in a society where we need to depend on different people, different institutions, and many other things for our daily routine. Yes, like in the 6th standard you all learned how society is the first home which when we come out of the house we go into the society and we learn many new things. We interact with the people in the society. We need institutions like school, colleges, hospitals, marketplaces. Then there are other things which we need. So there are so many things which we are dependent on. In the same way, we are going to learn about the interdependence of India with other countries of the world. Okay? So the next topic is interdependence. All the countries of the world are dependent on each other for one reason or the other. However big, prosperous, or developed a nation may be, it can never be self sufficient about all it needs. Even big nations have to depend upon other big and small nations. Thus, interdependence is an important feature of the international system, that is, today's global system. Now children, we have seen that many a times we need many things, and for that we need to develop on someone or the other. Same way, even if the country is well developed or has all the facilities, all the developments, all the technologies, but still there are some small things which the country may need, which they don't have, which they are dependent on the other country. Hence, interdependence is an important feature. Coming to the next topic, children, international relations through foreign policy. Every nation has policies about its internal dealings, as also about its relations with other nations. Such a policy is called foreign policy. We are going to study India's foreign policy in detail in the next chapter. Now, foreign policy, children, is nothing but the relation with the other country or the dealings with the other countries which they have. There are some points which they follow. There are internal dealings as well, and the relations with the other countries. So all these things together combined are known as foreign policy. Now about India's foreign policy, we have a whole chapter which is coming. Chapter number 2 is totally on India's foreign policy. Okay. Now children, moving to the next, we are going to learn about some important events in the history. The world in which we live today has been shaped through many events and developments. Hence, we need to go back to history in order to understand today's world. We know that 2 world wars were fought in the last century. These were the most important events in the world in that century. The world completely changed because of them. New currents of thoughts emerged. Let us understand what else happened due to these world wars. Now, children, when we focus on the history, we have seen that 2 world wars took place. And now we are going to see what happened after these world wars, how things changed, or what type of developments were seen, or what type of differences came in the developments or the events which came after that, so that we are going to learn in detail. The First World War. The First World War was fought between 1914 and 1918. Major countries of Europe took part in it. Europe had a very central place in the international or global system at that time. The war caused a tremendous loss of life and property. The countries which joined the war suffered tremendously economic losses. Even the countries which did not join the war were impacted by the war. The economies of the victorious as well as the losing countries collapsed. Now, children, you can see in the above pictures the destruction which was caused. Now, as we learned that the first war lasted from 1914 to 1918, that is for almost 4 years. Now, in this 4 years, children, you can imagine how long this period was and how much suffering the people must have gone through. Even the countries which were not involved in the war, they also suffered a lot. Economically, everything was damaged and people had to suffer a lot. Now, countries involved in the First World War. Now, see children, in your textbook also there is a column, 2 columns are given, Allied powers and the Central powers. Now, at the end of the First World War, all the nations felt that such a war should not happen again, and some measures need to be taken to achieve that end. An international organization called the League of Nations was established out of this thinking. After seeing the consequences of First World War, all the countries felt that there is a need of some institution or some organization which can come forward and stop this kind of war from happening again, and hence this organization named the League of Nations was established. It became an important platform to solve international disputes and carry out negotiations. Negotiations means, children, if there are any differences between the countries, so mutually they can talk and they can come to a conclusion, try to solve the problem by mutual means. Instead of getting into a war or getting into a fight, they can just try to solve it in a peaceful manner. The main responsibility of the League of Nations was understood to be to avoid war. So children, here we understand that the main motive of this League of Nations was to avoid war and to establish peace throughout the world. Yes, if you want peace, we should avoid war. Now, after the First World War, major changes came about in Europe and outside Europe. For example, earlier empires in Europe collapsed and new nations came into being. Many European countries had their colonies in the continents of Africa and Asia. Movements for independence started in these colonies. These movements challenged the hegemony of the European nation. Now, what do you mean by hegemony, children? It's dominions of one or a group over other. Now, what happens this when these colonies are set up in other countries? From their country, they go and set up a rule in the other country. So, hegemony means dominions of one or a group over the other. League of Nations was established after the First World War to establish peace, but it did not succeed at preventing war. Autocratic regimes came up in Germany, Italy, Spain, and other countries. All these developments culminated in the Second World War. Now, children, even though the League of Nations was established after the First World War to establish peace, but it did not succeed because there were some autocratic regimes came up in Germany, Italy, Spain, and in other countries. And then they started coming together and creating some issues which resulted into Second World War. I hope you all understood till here. We'll stop for the day. If you have any doubt, you can join the DCS. Thank you. Have a nice day.